being too close to people, smelling them, having them touch me. Colours are a lot brighter at Christmas. Everything's in your face, it's flashing, it's bigger, it's brighter, it's bolder, it's better, it's noisier, it's all kind of jacked up to be that way, isn't it?
This is Jodie. Christmas can be a really stressful time for her.
Rogue stressful.
In this episode of Like Minds, we're discussing how Christmas can be overwhelming for many people, especially people with complex mental health problems. Jodie was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder when she was 19.
Tell me about your mental health.
Because due to, I'm not going to censor myself about it, due to quite a horrific childhood with many forms of abuse on a lot of levels, I first came across mental health input as a young teenager, about 14, and then I was admitted to an adolescent psychiatric unit because I was so unwell with self-harm, overdosing and all that kind of thing.
So there's a lot of trauma that you've obviously had to deal with.
Yeah, an awful lot, yeah.
Jodie also has difficulty regulating her senses. Sights, sounds, tastes and smells, they can all trigger traumatic memories from her past.
So for example, if I was triggered by the smell of someone's perfume or aftershave from a traumatic event in childhood, even if I smelt that today, I'm likely to go straight back to the same place.
So that must be quite intense at a time of year like this, because obviously there's a lot going on, there's a lot of noise, there's lots of lights, but also everyone's kind of enclosed as well at this time of year.
Yeah, I had it a few years ago in Truro, late night shopping, and there was...
At Christmas time?
Yeah, at Christmas time, there's a queue of people coming out of this shop, and a band started playing, and because of the sound of the big drum, that was what started my heart palpitating, and then the lights were just in my face everywhere. People started looking like they were magnified. I started burning up, pouring with sweat, feeling like I needed to go to the toilet, and I was just, oh my God, I've got real fight or flight. I have to get myself out of this situation. I cannot deal with it. And I left all my shopping. I just put down 4 carrier bags full of expensive gifts and just walked away and left them. Got on a taxi rank and got a taxi home.
Here's Kath. She's an expert in sensory integration and helps people like Jodie. Tell me what you do, what your work is around sensory processing.
So I'm an occupational therapist. I work with children, adults, older adults, right across the lifespan, using sensory integration, which is a particular tool in our toolbox to cope and manage with the challenges of daily life, to make daily life easier. So as part of our development, we should be able to take in sensory information, to use it.
Like smell of coffee.
Smell, touch, taste, vision, hearing. And when we don't process sensory information in the same way as other people, or our body can't use that information or can't damp down too much of that information, everyday life can be tricky.
When you're traumatised and you're suffering sensory processing difficulties and all this is raining down into your brain and nervous system, you feel like it's happening, or I feel like it's happening so quickly. So a lot of the times when people would say you were right, they could see that I wasn't, but I'd be going, yeah, I'm all right, yeah. I'll deal with it, I'll cope with it. Thinking, I'm not all right, I'm really not all right.
When people have got trauma, we think that maybe because trauma that happens when we're very young happens before we have language, we tag memories of sensory input without language. And so for people who have these very big visceral responses to sensation, they can't name them. They just know their body feels awful and it feels revolting and or it feels yucky. And then being able to express that to someone, to actually describe how they feel and what they're struggling with, is very, very difficult.
Using techniques that Kath taught her, Jodie has been managing much better.
There's not anything I don't know how to correct now on a sensory level. There's nothing I feel I couldn't manage. And that for me, that's what makes me able to live my life and to live by myself and take care of myself and have the surety to know that I'm going to be all right.
Have you made any Christmas plans?
I was going to stay by myself, but I am actually going to a friend's with my dog. Just me and my dog.
Have you got any sort of last advice for people, other people out there who maybe they don't even know that this is what's happening to them, or they just really struggle at this time of year as well? What would you say?
I would say if you want to be alone because that's what you feel like you really need, then don't let anybody try and sway you otherwise, because it is about, when you've got any sort of mental health problem, it is about giving yourself what you need. Don't put yourself in situations where you don't feel comfortable, but at the same time don't limit yourself from doing anything, because then you'll never live your life. You've got to be able to live a life.